Very good morning. We're going to start today with Unit 6, prose part of it, Expert Detectives. A very cute story about a pair of siblings, a brother and a sister. Now, if you have siblings, I need not tell you what is the chemistry you people share amongst each other. You always fighting like Tom and Jerry. You don't have the same opinion unless you are a special case that you get along with your sibling very well. But most of the time it is seen that you have differences of opinions over here. Any issue, and then you try to fix each other somewhere or the other in some kind of act at the home and see to it that you get the parents' attention. Here is a cute story of a sibling that they are same, like they are normal people like us, who don't get along so well, keep bothering each other, but they are too much into finding out things. They have a lot of curiosity about finding out things. So here, that's why the name Expert Detectives. Now, I'm not talking about CBI over here making an inquiry or a police investigation report. Our detectives are two young kids who are siblings. Let's start with the story. Nishad, a boy of 7, also called 7. Why? Like 7, if you have read novels, it's a detective series. Because his name means the 7th note on the musical scale. And his 10-year-old sister, Maya, are very curious about one Mr. Nath. Both of them are very curious to know about a person named Mr. Nath. Then one day, the children's marble rolls into Mr. Nath's room and Nishad gets a chance to see him. Is he a crook on the run? Why is his face badly scarred? Why has he no friends? A certain questions strike their mind. If you see somebody's face badly scarred, badly bruised and scars over there on their faces, you will definitely have an opinion about that person. It's a pakka criminal because no normal being will have so many scars on their faces. And if somebody is extra quiet and doesn't have any friends, just sits in one room and locks himself up, then also you will have doubts about that person. So one day the marble rolls down in their room and then they have different varieties of questions and answers to be handled. Why has he no friends? And one question comes to their mind is, why doesn't he have friends? Nishad's mother, a doctor, knows Mr. Nath as a patient who is very polite. Mother has a totally different opinion when compared to the kids, that Mr. Nath is very polite man. He is her patient because she is a doctor by profession. Let's see what happens in actuality. Expert detectives. As we walked back towards the clinic, 7 said, he doesn't look anything like a monster, Maya. But did you see how thin he is? Maybe he is very poor and can't afford to eat. There are many inferences which these two kids take out. By look of him, by his behavior, by the number of friends he's got, the number of interactions he's got, what kind of food does he eat, how many scars are there on his face, all, or depending on all that, they take out certain points to be chalked out. So he says, 7, that is Nishad, is of the opinion that that man is not bad. He's lean, he's slim, so Nishad thinks that he doesn't have much to eat, he is poor. He can't be poor if he's a crook on the run. Now this is the sister. Okay? So sister says, Maya says that he can't be poor. Like crooks, the criminals have got a lot of money because they earn easy money. They're always into earning easy money. And easy money is a lot. They don't do crimes for simple small amounts, like huge amounts. So she says if he is a crook on the run, if he is running away from the police, he will not be poor. I told him, he's probably got millions of rupees stashed away somewhere in that room. Stashed away means hidden somewhere in the room. He's got millions of rupees. That's the opinion of the sister. Do you really think he's a criminal, Maya? He doesn't look like one. Nishad looked doubtful. So he is speaking on behalf of Mr. Nath, but he has doubts of his own. Of course, he's 1-7, I said, and he certainly isn't starving. Mr. Mehta told us that Ramesh brings his meals up from the restaurant downstairs. So there's one person called Ramesh. The person whom she got the information from was Mr. Mehta. Mr. Mehta had told Maya that Ramesh brings food for him from the restaurant every day. Now somebody who's eating every day from the restaurant can't be poor. But Maya, Mr. Mehta told us he doesn't work anywhere. So how can he possibly have money to pay for food, Nishad said. So Nishad gets a doubt. If he doesn't work anywhere, he's simply living in a closed room. How does he manage to get that much of money to eat food is what is Nishad's doubt. Exactly, I exclaimed. So the I over here is the sister who is narrating the entire episode for us. So she says, like, till now you were saying that he is a good man. Now if he doesn't work, how does he have that money with him? He must have lots of money hidden away somewhere. Maybe in that trunk in his room. It's probably full of silver and gold and jewels there. So she's got her own imagination running wild over here. Might be a lot of money is there, jewels are there, costly things are there inside it. And he must be using those only to eat food. What rubbish, Nishad interrupted. I know, I'm right. Stupid, I told him. So the sister calls the brother stupid. She says, I know that I'm right. By the way, 7, did you see his scars? I couldn't. It was too dark, but I bet he got them during a shootout with the police or something. So she says that have you noticed the scars on his face? I'm definite about it, I'm sure about it that he has got these scars while he was in a shootout. Like, what is a shootout? When the police fire, you fire back, the criminal fires back, and then that process is called the shootout. He must have got hurt at that time, which has left scars on his face. Mummy told us quite clearly they were burn scars, Nishad said firmly. So she says, Mama, I had spoken to Mama. Mama said that those were burn scars. He must have got burnt in an accident. Perhaps the police had to set his house on fire to force him out, I suggested. 7 looked unsure. And for that also, Maya has got an answer, she says. Might be to take him out of the house. The house was set on fire. And then he might have got all those burn marks. On the Monday following Mama's birthday, 7 went alone with her to the clinic at Girgaon, as I was spending the evening with a school friend. So Nishad happens to go with his mom alone. Now he gets a chance to do something over there. When they returned, Nishad told me he had been to Mr. Nath, and I felt most annoyed that I hadn't been there. So because both are so inquisitive to know about that man, now it becomes the issue of ego over here as to who will find out the right thing about this man. So because Nishad goes and visits that man, and Maya is deprived of the chance, so she feels a little bit taken aback. 7 had been quite upset about Mr. Nath's gaunt appearance and was sure that he was starving. Gaunt is very sickly. Looking at him, you would feel he's suffering from so many ailments and all. So he looked at him and he was feeling miserable for him. He told me that he had knocked loudly on Mr. Nath's door that evening and said, "Open the door quickly, Mr. Nath." So he did go and knock very loud at the door and he said, "Open the door for me." The man had opened it and asked him, "Lost another marble?" So the prior day also one marble had rolled down the door over there into the room. So he asked him, "Did you lose another marble today also?" He had obviously recognized my brother. So Maya thinks he had obviously recognized him. That's why he must have asked the same. No, said Nishad. He had taken the man's hand in his own and thrust a bar of chocolate into it. So Nishad wanted to be friends with Mr. Nath. That's how he thought he could find out something at least about this man. So he puts a bar of chocolate on his hand. Did you get a chance to peek into the trunk, 7? I asked. So she thinks he's gone to see what is in the trunk. He might have opened the trunk's lid and then seen whatever is inside it. Nishad looked disappointed. He didn't even ask me in, he said. Then he smiled. But I did find out of something, Maya. I went down to the restaurant where Ramesh works and talked to him. So that man didn't even allow Nishad to come inside, though he wanted to be friends with him. So, but after he went out from there, Ramesh, who works down, so he goes to him and inquires something about this man. Good for you, Mr. Detective, I said, patting him on the back. I hope you questioned him properly. Seven looked pleased. Ramesh told me that he takes 2 meals for Mr. Nath every morning and evening and 2 cups of tea, 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. So that's his meal. 2 times a day he eats food, and that is brought by Ramesh. And apart from that, 2 times he has tea also, 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. Ramesh says he is not very particular about what he eats. So like choosy in eating, he is not. Whatever is brought to him, he eats. It's always the same food, 2 chapatis, some dal and a vegetable. Mr. Nath pays cash and tips well. Now, if a person who's not working at all eats food from the restaurant, tips well, and is not fussy about anything, definitely have doubts about this person. So, I will stop over here. In the next lecture, I will proceed with the story. Till then, you read the chapter till here and learn the meanings which have been given. Thank you.